Scott, thanks very much for that. As you say, I'm here with Jacob Rees-Mogg, the chairman of the European Research Group and a Conservative MP. Jacob, great to be with you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
First and foremost, what's your take on the Prime Minister's actions of the last couple of days?
Well, I think they have made the government look ridiculous and the country look ridiculous. That everyone was marched up to the top of the hill and then marched down again. The Grand Old Duke of York comes to mind. This is the flagship government policy. And the Prime Minister stood up in the House of Commons and said it was going to be voted so heavily that she was pulling it. This is not a good position for her to be in.
There's been a lot of speculation, particularly in the last couple of hours, whether members of her own party, like yourself, have submitted enough letters, 48 is the needed number, to start a vote of confidence in her. What's your take on whether that is likely at this moment?
I don't know, and Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of the 1922 committee, will keep it confidential until he's had a chance to tell the Prime Minister if it has happened. If it has happened, we'll probably find out tomorrow, but I don't know if that number of letters has gone in.
You tried to engineer a vote of confidence in her a few weeks ago. As you sit here now, that didn't work a few weeks ago. As you sit here now, are you more confident that you've been successful?
It not having happened last time, I'm quite cautious about predicting it happening this time. So we'll basically just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow.
If there is a vote of confidence, how confident are you that you can get or there will be the necessary votes for her to be ousted? Because it's taken a long time to get 48 needed to trigger the vote. You need 158 in order for her to be ousted.
Yes, the first thing I'd say is that normally when a Prime Minister loses her main policy, that Prime Minister resigns. That is the historic constitutional convention. Prime Ministers don't just carry on regardless. Unlike, of course, in the United States, where the President is elected for a specific term, the Prime Minister only holds office as long as she maintains the confidence of the House of Commons. I think yesterday the Prime Minister lost that and ought under normal constitutional conventions to resign anyway. That is now her duty. In terms of getting to the 159, ask any Conservative MP privately if he wants Theresa May to lead us to the next general election, and you will find the answer is a resounding no. People have come to the conclusion that her leadership is not working.
If Prime Minister Theresa May was to step aside or was to be ousted, do you fear that your fellow Brexiteers would think more about their own careers and a grasp for power and all run against each other, therefore potentially nullifying the cause of the Brexiteer?
Well, personally, I will not run under these circumstances for exactly that reason. I think you could easily get into a situation where half a dozen, perhaps even a dozen Brexiteers throw their hats into the ring. I think this would be a mistake. I think that only the best placed candidates should stand for exactly the reason you mentioned, so that we can have a unified Brexit approach and ensure that the delivery of Brexit is done by somebody who believes in it. Theresa May's problem has been that she backed Remain and has never managed to convince people that she changed her mind.
Who's the best candidate?
On balance, I think Boris Johnson, but I think David Davis and Dominic Raab are also extraordinarily good candidates.
Now, you've criticised some of the economic experts who've given predictions about what a no-deal Brexit would mean for the economy in the past, including the Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney. You're also a fund manager, or were, and you understand markets very well. Markets do not like the idea of a no-deal Brexit. Are markets wrong as well?
Well, markets are never wrong, but markets set prices. And the question is the market a buy or a sell? When I talk to international investors, they say to me what they're interested in is the price and the value of the investment they're going to make. They're not looking at anything other than whether their investment will work. And yes, I've been critical of experts, but the evidence backs me up. If you look at what the Treasury was saying before the referendum about what would happen simply on a vote to leave, their estimates over 2 years were out by nearly 5.5%. They bungled it because their estimates were politically motivated.
But sterling at the moment, therefore, you're saying is a buy, not a sell. The price is attractive.
I think at 125, sterling is a buy, yes. But I'm not here to give investment advice, and I'm probably not regulated to do so I probably ought to be careful.
If we do get a change in leader and that the next Prime Minister is a Brexiteer, one of the names you just mentioned, given that the maths in Parliament won't change, and given that it seems like the resolve of the EU won't change, would you admit that the most likely outcome is then a no-deal Brexit on the 29th of March?
Well, the good news from the point of view of Brexiteers is that the law that was passed in June, the Withdrawal Act, means we leave on the 29th of March if nothing else happens. And to stop it happening, a new law has to be passed. It's not just a motion in the House of Commons, it's legislation. And Americans know better than most people how difficult it is to get legislation through Congress. It's not quite as hard in the UK Parliament, but it's still quite an effort and time-consuming. So yes, I think your analysis is right, that the most likely outcome from here is that we leave without a withdrawal agreement. But then we simply trade with the EU on world trade terms, which is an efficient, tried and tested way of trading with the rest of the world. It works globally, it's understood globally. It's not the leap in the dark it's being portrayed as.